Mike Bond joined by Rafael dos Anjos, former UFC lightweight champion and welterweight contender. Rafael, how we doing, man?
Doing good, man. Thank you.
Glad to hear it. So let's cut straight to it, man. We've seen you very active on social media past couple of days. You want this fight with Conor McGregor that was supposed to happen a few years ago. I guess why right now did you feel this was the time to rehash that fight and try to push for it again?
Yeah, that wasn't initiated by me. I think Chael Sonnen, he's been posting videos that really opened my eyes and look into the rankings, look in the situation that the whole game is right now. And since me and Conor, I'm ahead of him on the rankings on the welterweight. And this fight supposed to happen like 4 years ago and didn't happen. And I think, man, that'll be a great fight. Like that's the fight to make it happen.
Yeah, and the last we heard from him, he obviously, I'm sure you saw his Twitter thing saying that he was going to be retiring once again. Are you buying this, or do you think he's just kind of holding out, waiting for a big fight?
Oh yeah, I don't think he's retiring right now. I think if I'm not wrong, that's his third time retiring, and I'm not buying that. I don't think nobody's buying that. He's too young, and I believe he still have a lot on him. I don't think he's retiring right now.
Yeah, and how much do you just think about when that fight was supposed to happen back in March 2016? Like, if you look at your resume, it's the only fight you've ever pulled out of in your entire career, and I'm sure that was insanely difficult for you. And we've just seen the repercussions of that with Nate Diaz stepping in, all that kind of stuff. Their series. How often do you just think about how that whole thing unfolded?
Yeah, man, I think everything happened for a reason, and I got hurt that day. And like you said, I even forgot how many fights I have in UFC. I think like maybe 28 or 30 fights. And my whole career, I got 42 fights, and I never pulled out due injury. And that was the first time ever. And I would love to run that fight again. I would love to really have a good camp and get the fight again.
Yeah, and that's when Conor was like really kind of on the top of the world, more to say, like really coming up, doing his best work in the cage. How do you feel that fight was going to go when it was supposed to happen originally? Like, what was kind of, obviously if you do fight him, you don't want to give away the game plan, but what were you thinking the fight was gonna how it was gonna go if you did end up fighting on that date?
Yeah, I have no doubts that I would beat him. No doubts on my mind. I was feeling great sparring. I was training with big guys, and I was training with Lyoto Machida a lot, which has like very similar base than Conor. And I was training really good with all those guys, and I had no doubts on my mind. But unfortunately, 2 weeks, I believe, like 13 or 12 days before the fight, one of my sparrings, I kicked the guy on the wrong way, and like I told back on the days, I told Lorenzo Fertitta, I say, Lorenzo, if I cannot kick, I was still gonna fight, but I can't walk, I can't make it to the cage. So, and then I was forced to pull out. I was on a hard cast for 6 weeks, and a lot of people make jokes, and even Conor make jokes that I pull out with a bruised foot, but that wasn't the truth. If I had a bruised foot, I would still fight. And even that the kicks would be part of my game for that fight, my left kick. But I couldn't make it to the cage. I couldn't walk. So that's why I was forced to pull out.
Yeah, of course, perfectly understandable. And there was talks of you guys fighting again, right, in Brazil for maybe like an interim title or something like that a few years ago, right?
Yeah. When I was scheduled to fight Kobe, I think, and they probably no, they were about to announce the fight against Kobe, and but the whole buzz thing happened in New York, and I heard UFC would make the announcement that we were gonna fight for that interim title in Brazil for the welterweight title, but unfortunately that wasn't my fault. That was his fault. He decided to break the buzz, and and the thing didn't happen.
So would you say, like, is it personal with Conor? I mean, you mentioned some of the stuff that he said, or do you just feel like, this is a fight, obviously, his name, everything he brings to the sport, that'd be a great win to have on your resume, or is there something deeper that goes into this fight because of all the history you guys have?
Man, I think the whole history, I was the lightweight champion. He was coming up to, to challenge me, and also, man, like I got a lot of fights, like that was the only one that I didn't make it, and that's what I would like to have on my record. A fight with Conor, and like I see a lot of people see. That's why I tweeted out like no more ifs, because I hear a lot of people, if the fight happened, if they win, if Conor, what would happen with Conor? If Conor had lose that fight, what would a lot of ifs. So it's time to just put that things on the table, and let's go. Let's make this fight happen anyway.
For sure. What would be your desired weight? Would it be to be at 170? I know you've kind of said that 155 is probably not in the cards for you again, unless it's something maybe you had a lot of time for and you could really get up for. Is that kind of the case? Like, this would probably be the only fight that would take you back to 155?
Yeah, that would be a fight. I would meet him anywhere. I'll meet him at 170. I will meet him at 155. I even like today was my last day that I was on on a very restrict diet to test my body, to see where I can get, how much I can get down, and without I've been working with same doctors as Jose Aldo. She helped Dr. Maria. She helped Jose Aldo drop to 135, and I've been working with her. And we did a terrific job, and for the past 2 weeks. And so the results is like my weight got stuck at 177. So I'm pretty lean right now. I'm ready to take a fight, but like as of fight at 155, I cannot have a career at 155. I cannot go down and do another title run for the 155 pounds belt. I could make 155 for like specific fight, or if it's a title fight, or like, but I can't plan myself to go down and have a career like I did have on 170 pounds. When I went up, I had 3 fights in a row. Like I fought in June with Tarek Safedin, and I fought September Neil Magny, and I fought December with against Robbie Lawler. That was a great run, and I can't do that with my body. It's not me. I've been very restrict. I've been very focused, but like it's just like I'm a former champion, 35 years old man, and I still have a lot on me. But my body has changed throughout the years, and I can't go back down and make a career again at 155. But I can go down and make a fight.
Okay, interesting. So I guess, how do we make this happen? I mean, you know how the game works. Conor McGregor is this big star. I'm sure he's going to do the fights that he wants to do. So how do you kind of convince him, or the UFC or everything, to make this fight and actually bring it to reality?
Yeah, I think, man, the story speaks by itself. The fight was there. We were scheduled to fight, and it makes sense. We can meet them both divisions, and I just think like not only me, but a lot of people think that that fight makes sense. And I think like now, like now the ball is so on UFC's court. Now it's their move. I did my move already, so let's see what's gonna happen the next couple of weeks.
Cool. And is that kind of how long you wait for something like this to shake out? A few weeks? Obviously, you can't wait forever. You already said you're, ready to fight. So is this just kind of the plan? See if this materializes in the next few weeks, and if not, maybe you move on and look at something else.
Oh yeah, man. I gotta keep busy, man. I got a baby at home, and I got a family, and fighters gotta fight. I want to be active. Especially when you're just training. I'm in shape. I'm ready to fight, but I want to compete. You know, like if it's not against Conor, I want to compete against somebody else.
Yeah, how has the just recent months been for you training through the pandemic, just living through all the stuff out there in California? Has it been hard on you and the family, or have you been able to get through it pretty smoothly?
No, we've been, you know, like as you guys can see, I got a gym at home. That's my garage, and I have some coaches coming over, and Jason Parvilo's coming over. Bryce come, you know, do some Muay Thai. I have some guys sparring here too. So I've been active. I've been training, you know, more than ever. And but just for the kids, kind of boring, you know. Kids stay more at home, especially my 11 years old. He stay more at home, but now things seems to get back to normal.
Yeah, that's good, man. So there's obviously a big fight coming up in the welterweight division for the title. Kamaru Usman, Gilbert Burns. What do you think of that fight? And obviously, you know, Gilbert Burns had a quick rise to this title shot, but obviously got it because they couldn't come to terms before him Masvidal too.
Oh yeah, man. I believe since they were teammates. I know Gilbert since like first grade. I was his older brother's best friend. We were like on second grade, and Gilbert was on the first grade. I know Gilbert so many years. He and his brothers, and he's a great guy, man. I like him a lot. I think he's on you know, he's very motivated. You know, one thing I can be sure, he's motivated. I think like he and Kamaru, they train a lot together on the past. I think he got big chance. I would put my you know, my money on Gilbert, because feel like he's on his time, you know, and he feel like he got a chance for the title, and I'm sure he's gonna go with everything.
That's amazing. I didn't know. Do you guys ever talk now and be like, look back, and be like, hey, like we were, you know, these little kids growing up, and look where we are now. You know, you're a former champion. He's fighting for a belt. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, he was here like even before the pandemic a little bit. He came over to California. He stopped by Ruka. We got some training, some sparring. He's, you know, he's a good friend of mine. I'm good friend with his brother Herbert too. We from the same neighborhood in Niterói, Rio de Janeiro. So yeah, it's good. It's good. I like them a lot. Good family.
That's super cool, man. And what do you think, like, when you do fight, whether it's against Conor or anyone else, it's probably going to be an empty arena? I don't know. I know for Conor, they would love to have a crowd there because he brings in a lot of money at the gate. But let's just assume your next fight is empty arena, you know, maybe a small cage, stuff like that. What do you think about all these things that are kind of the new elements right now under these, you know, crazy pandemic circumstances we have?
Yeah, man. You know, whatever happens. You know, like I just gonna make sure you know, I'm ready. You know, like be ready for anything that UFC presented to me. Of course, I have you know, I have two guys in mind. I have like Conor, of course, or Anthony Pettis. I think that will be a good fight as well. And since like he moved up, and I think that we have a history. You know, I'm looking for guys that I have a history and fights that make sense to me. And we'll see whatever UFC have for me. I will probably hear from them on the next couple weeks.
Awesome. And I guess just before I let you go, then I know Conor McGregor, you know, consumes the media. He watches these interviews and stuff, especially when his name is brought up. So if he sees this here right now, do you have a final message for him of why you guys should be fighting next?
Yeah, man. I think, man, me and Conor, we have a history together. We were about to fight for the lightweight title, and but like, man, that's a combat sport, and people get injury, and I got injury, and you know that happened. That could happen to anyone. He broke his toe the other day. That happened to anybody, and so I got unlucky that day that I broke my foot. But like, let's make it happen again and give the fans a great show. Any division, if you want to go do make it up for 155, I'm in. 170, I'm in too. Let's make it happen.
Awesome, brother. Well, hopefully you got this opportunity, Rafael. I really appreciate you taking some time, and definitely just keep us updated with what goes on with the next fight.
Definitely, I will. Thank you.
Thank you, brother.